Hello Internet, my name is Taliesin.
And I'm Evitel, and welcome to the weekly reset, Taliesin and Evitel's Wondrous Wisdomshow, bringing you all the latest WoW knowledge because...
Knowledge power.
Whoa, what the fuck is wrong with Khadgar? Watch out Evitel, I think he's finally gone full Dreadlord.
Don't worry, he's always like this after a big patch. It's just a few bugs, they'll be ironed out soon enough.
Are you sure? Because honestly, if he is turning into a Dreadlord, I can totally burn him with holy fire, just saying.
Seriously, don't worry about it. Blizz will come out with a hotfix soon enough, I am certain.
Are you sure though?
I'm almost certain.
I'll give him 2 days.
Anyway, lots to talk about this week, so let's get into our first big story.
Of course, there is only one main story today, 7.2. This week has seen a massive patch hit the live servers with all the glitches, bugs and drama that we'd kind of come not to expect from Blizzard recently, as well as some massive player-based drama, which we kind of have. I'm not being funny here, okay? If you are a fan of massive, all-encompassing melodrama, then World of Warcraft has been the game for you this week. The forums have made Days of Our Lives look like the last of the summer wine. It's been stupid, and it wasn't supposed to be this way. This week was supposed to be the climax of 3 months of work and excitement building up to 7.2. A new zone, new dungeon, new systems, one of the coolest WoW cinematics of all time, and the start of our journey towards the next raid tier. This week was supposed to see everyone calm the fuck down and just get on with enjoying an awesome video game and all of the new stuff that it had to offer. It's fair to say, that didn't happen. Firstly, the launch itself. Now, maybe we've been spoiled recently because Blizz have been so on the ball with stress-free rollouts that we have all forgotten what a massive clusterfuck new launches can be. So when 7.2 was a clusterfuck, we were caught unawares. And to be honest, it was a bit of a clusterfuck. Not on the same scale as, say, the launch of Warlords of Draenor, obviously. When WoD launched, it was essentially the WoW version of the Mass Effect 3 ending. No one had any fucking idea what was going on or why it was happening. They just knew that they were really, really upset by it. And then it was all fixed and we had Warlords of Draenor, which didn't help much either. But 7.2 has its own problems. Tuning issues in the new dungeon, glitches with artifact power research, a strangely empty and nethershardless broken shore and Centenax experience, the fact that getting the mage tower takes longer than building an actual real life house, fuck off. Oh, and if you had your heart set on one of the other buildings, then wow, it sucks to be you, sorry. As well as a number of bosses being actually physically broken in the Nighthold. Scorpion would throw you to the other side of the room whether you were positioned safely behind a crystal or not. Trilliax's big beam of death animation appeared in a different place to the direction he was facing, instantly wiping whole raids. This one is actually quite funny. I actually think we should keep this one if that's okay, please. Instantly detonating rings on Elisand, invisible eyes on Gul'dan, and even if you manage to cope with that and take out heroic Gul'dan for the first time, like we did on Thursday night, we didn't get our ahead of the curve achievement because it's bugged and currently ungettable, even though it should be gettable. And seriously, Blizz, this is shit. If I don't have my curve for heroic Nighthold, how am I supposed to get into normal Emerald Nightmare pugs on Group Finder? I need that curve, Blizz. But of course, the biggest controversy revolved around item level scaling. A new feature, unannounced in the patch notes, that saw world mobs on the Broken Isles scaling relative to your item level. Now, we made a video about this pretty much as it happened, but as promised, we are going to talk about it here too. Because in that video, I was simply showing you what was happening and giving my initial thoughts and opinions. Those thoughts were essentially meh, by the way. Now, of course, we can gauge the community reaction and look at what action Blizzard has taken to rectify it, because all that is important to this story too. And I am glad we did wait for the community reaction, because when I went onto the forums to see what people were saying about this, I was really impressed with the level of mature, reasoned, balanced debate that was happening. No, it was a shit show, obviously. This is honestly disgusting, despicable, and vile. This is literally the most deplorable act I've seen from Blizzard yet. Honestly, this current dev team and your direction has been the worst thing for WoW. You guys are just not happy unless you are screwing with us, are you? No Blue will ever show his face in one of these threads again. This is probably the last straw for me. I could not possibly be any more disgusted with the developers right now. Really? You could not possibly be more disgusted with them. There is literally nothing they could do that would disgust you more. So then they could in theory, replace the face of every mob in the game with an adorable puppy, and make the only weapon you could equip a plank with a nail on it, and each adorable puppy-faced mob take 5 full minutes of bloody, relentless bludgeoning to kill, with the puppy all the while just looking at you, saying softly, "But I never did anything to you." Because that would disgust me more. But for you, that is preferable to eye-level scaling. Okay, that got weird. And okay, don't get me wrong, first of all, just let me say that I love that people are so passionate about this game. I love that people are invested and that they care, and I can't criticise that. I care enough about this game to make almost two videos every week sometimes, and there are undoubtedly issues to be discussed here. With the system itself, the way it was implemented, and the way it was rolled out. Let's be honest, as first world problems go, this is right up there with getting too much almond milk in your skinny flat white. Whatever you think about this, it is not vile. Okay? It's just not. Kicking a homeless person is vile. Michael Bay's Ninja Turtles movies are vile. This is just something that you don't like. And that's fine, you know, that's important, but let's keep some perspective here, okay? So in my mind, there are 3 main points here. Number 1, is eye-level scaling a good idea at all? As I've said before, my initial gut reaction was no, absolutely not. I like the world scaling with me as I progress to 110, but once I hit max level, I want to feel myself get more powerful as I gear up. That's the point of an MMO. But then let's put our emotional reaction to one side and look at the facts. I want to be blowing through mobs as if they're not there by the end of the expansion. And that's what's happening now, maybe halfway through an expansion. Objectively, it needs reining in, especially if the world is going to be used throughout the life of Legion, through things like Legion Assault World Quests, which it should be, because those things are really cool. And yes, Blizzard said that they wouldn't introduce eye-level scaling, but look, if it makes the game better, and I think it does, then I'm glad they're going back on their words. And there seems to be some confusion over what this actually is. So let's look at what eye-level scaling, if implemented properly, is not. It is not a punishment for gearing. If mobs scale at a lesser rate than the power you gain from increasing eye level, then they do not become harder for you to kill. As your eye level gets better, they become easier. A statement like there is no feeling of power at all anymore is objectively inaccurate, because they are still much easier to kill as you get better gear. Yes, even if you are a healer, they are still going to get easier to kill as you get better gear. You can't one-shot them after 1 tier of raid gear, that's all. You might have to wait until you're on the 2nd tier of raid gear, like you usually have to. The progress is still there, and it's still much more than the equivalent stage in other expansions. Even though my gut feeling is no, I have a natural aversion to this idea, properly implemented, this is a change that any reasonable player knows needs to happen. So number 2, was the change properly implemented? No. A big fat no, obviously. As we pointed out in our original video, when this was first implemented, the difference between a mob when a player is 895 and 840 was 500,000 health on the mob, which is too much. Taking off a ring and losing nothing, 3% haste and 2% crit, is easier than hitting for an extra 500,000 health, and that is clearly broken. The maths on the system wasn't right, and it wasn't working as intended. Ian said as much in his blue post. The way it was working was a mistake, but that doesn't make it a bad idea. You can accidentally fill a pie with stones, but that doesn't make pie a bad idea, okay? Pie is still awesome, you're just doing your pie wrong. And this has already been fixed, sort of. That same mob from our first video will now have 1,970,000 health at 894. And actually, when I tested this morning, unequipping that same ring and dropping to 840 actually increased the mob's health. So now it's broken the other way. There are still problems there. But when this works as intended, assuming it does, you are still going to feel yourself getting, frankly, stupidly more powerful against these mobs as you gear, just like you should in an MMO. This isn't like a bear running up to you with a glass sword and Draenic armor, okay? That isn't what's happening. But yes, there were clearly issues with the initial implementation. Which brings us to number 3. Were Blizzard wrong to not properly communicate this change in the patch notes? Because if there's one thing the forums have made clear here, it's that they feel betrayed. They feel lied to. How dare you? If you had a shred of ethics or conviction, you would have at least announced this ahead of time and dealt with the storm then. Shame on you, cowards. Again, that's a little bit skinny flat white there, but you get his point. Blizzard have made a big deal recently over their improved communication with the player base, and that effort has been noticeable. More developer Q&As than I can be bothered watching, frankly. But then this. Oh, Blizz. Now, I'm going to put all my cards on the table, okay? Personally, I don't actually give a shit that Blizzard didn't put this in the patch notes. Sorry, I just can't get worked up about it. Blizzard isn't my girlfriend, okay? They haven't cheated on me. But Blizzard are absolute fucking idiots if they didn't know what an absolute shitstorm this would create. And it really is. And, you know, I get that's how everything works now, you know? Everything is either the greatest thing ever or absolute dog shit, and there's no in between. You're either a fanboy apologist or you're an irrational hater. You're a knuckle-dragging racist or you're a corrupt liberal elite. And actually, you know what? Hardly anyone is either of those things. But that doesn't matter. Those are the only two camps you're allowed. And I guess what we've got to accept here is that people really enjoy being angry about stuff. Like, this is how they enjoy the game, World of Warcraft, by acting like Blizzard is a raid boss that needs to be taken down, and they play the game through the forums as much as they do the live servers. And that's cool, I guess. I mean, there's a part of me right now that is enjoying talking about this drama, even if other parts of me would rather be scratching out my eyes with a fork. So, in conclusion, the change is negligible. It does not punish you for gearing or progressing your character. If anything, it's the opposite. It isn't working right now. Blizzard are stupid for leaving themselves open to accusations of dishonesty, and even if I don't care, enough other people do to call this a lesson that needs to be learned in the way they implement new changes. And now, I'm going for a shower, and hopefully the scalding hot water can burn this dirt from me, and one day, hopefully, I can again be clean. Evitel.
Stuff that hasn't happened this week. Legion assaults, PvP brawls, order hall upgrades, class-specific world quests, and class mount quests. This may come as something of a surprise if you've played the PTR or watched pretty much any things to do at the start of 7.2 guides on YouTube. This stuff is all still coming, but not at launch. It's just that nobody mentioned that. Sorry. It turns out class mounts are 11 weeks away, and as more story pieces unlock leading up to the Tomb of Sargeras. In that time, there's almost certainly going to be another big tuning patch in an attempt to balance classes for the new raid. But the next reset will see the start of those Legion assaults and PvP brawls, at least. Legion assaults see whole zones of the Broken Isles taken over by demons, more so than usual, and a whole raft of Legion assault world quests to do. Complete 4 of these, and you get to take part in a 20-ish minute scenario that will climax in a genuinely really cool fight on top of a Legion ship.
Disco shit.
Sorry, on top of a Legion disco ship. Blizzard say they are the best way to earn nethershards, but even more important than that, you will have to complete a Legion assault in each zone as part of unlocking flying. And you really want flying. Let's be honest, you're already sick of those cliffs in the Broken Shore, aren't you? How you start climbing one part of the cliff and then it turns out you should have climbed up another part of the cliff, so you try to jump down the cliff to start again, but the fall from the cliff kills you and you res in a graveyard which is behind a completely different cliff, fucking miles away from the cliff you want. Fuck those cliffs. You want flying. So look, I know Azuna is the absolute last place you want to go right now because frankly, who cares if a bunch of comedy pirates get eaten by a few demons, right? And it's not like the emissary mount is all that great, but honestly, it'll be worth it. When you're sailing high over the Broken Isles, not giving a single shit about how mobs may or may not scale because it's not like you're gonna fight them anyway, you'll be glad that you rescued those comedy pirates. I promise.
Until then, you can complete your new artifact quests and start yourself off on your journey to Artifact Knowledge 50. Start the new PvP season, and there are going to be new dungeons to tackle in Mythic Plus. Cathedral and Upper and Lower Karazhan now have keys, and all Mythic Plus dungeons will now drop artifact power relative to their timer. So the longer a dungeon is, the more artifact power you get. So a Halls of Valor key isn't quite the automatic delete it was before. Oh, who am I kidding? No, delete that fucker, seriously. Most groups can't even get past the first boss.
And it's probably worth mentioning a few of the hotfixes that have been coming in over the last couple of days. Nethershard drops from elite mobs on Broken Shore got massively increased, and Blizz assure us that the Centenax and its beacons are now the best place on the Broken Shore to farm them, although we're not sure we really believe them on that. And those buildings, they've had the amount of resources needed to build them nerfed heavily, so you should get your mage tower up in no time at all. So, 7.2.
Yeah, 7.2.
It's here.
It's all go. How are you finding it?
It's good, yeah. I'm really enjoying it, actually.
Yeah, cool. What have you done?
God, what have I done? I've just done the opening scenario, and I've putted around. Oh, and I've picked up a shit ton of coins for Khadgar.
Khadgar's coins?
Yeah, I've never thought I'd have to do that again, but you know, I just had to go groveling in the dirt for Khadgar's coins.
What did he reward you with? Because I haven't done that.
Don't even know, like half a nether shard.
Oh, mate, that is so sweet. Good old Khadgar. Did you find that you're finding it like a little bit empty and stuff, or?
It feels pretty empty, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like the space isn't as full of people. I do tend to run into big groups of horde people, though.
Really?
Yeah.
With their new orange writing above their heads.
they're
So you
super
think they're legendary. And
So
you're
many
like,
legendaries
"Oh."
everywhere.
Do you, like, because I'm the same as you, I kind of think that so far, the Broken Shore, it does feel like there's not much going on there once you've done the sort of the initial AP quests and stuff.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish that they'd bought the Demon Assault and stuff.
Yeah, it feels a little empty right now. It feels like we're waiting for the big thing to happen.
Yeah, which is so annoying because I kind of felt like after that awesome fucking cinematic, which got me so pumped.
So pumped.
And I was like, yeah, I can do fucking Broken Shore. And then, yeah, it just feels a little bit like I'm kind of waiting for other stuff to happen.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because I'd like a big fucking punch in the face and go, this is what's going on.
Speaking of big fucking punches in the face,
Yeah.
I heard you got something quite good recently.
I'm not sure that's the best link we've ever done.
Well, you know, just
if I'm completely honest.
it was an emotional punch.
Okay, oh right, yeah, I totally, when I got to the Broken Shore, speaking of legendaries, totally off a world boss, some fucking world boss, looted my best in slot legendary.
Hey.
Velen's Future Sight,
Nice
the old
one.
Healing trinket, which is sweet and OP as fuck. So I can just about do as much healing as everyone else now. Now I've got my OP trinket. I'm
Nice.
fucking sorted, so it's great. So what are the other things? Oh, did you have you noticed like the new animations and shit?
Yeah.
On your
As a hunter,
Yeah.
totally. Like, because you know that I just mash keys when I play.
yeah,
like,
when
I don't actually.
if
look
I'm
at
listening to you play, it's
anything.
literally just like the sounds of a face hitting a keyboard.
Yeah, sometimes I do it with my face. What's really nice about the hunter animations is that I now get to see like different colored arrows showing me what keys I have mashed.
I know exactly what I've done.
Yeah, so like
That's so
aim
sweet.
shot. That was an aim shot,
Okay.
right? Like
What colour is aim shot?
I don't even remember, but you know, you get a sense for them. No, it's really cool. It's
Cool.
really nice. The animations are better, I think.
What do you think, guys? Let us know in the comments below. And thank you for joining us today. An extra special big thank you to our amazing patrons who give their actual real life money to help this show happen. Guys, thank you. Oh, by the way, the reason this video is a bit late today is because while we've been doing it, we've been sort of filming a behind the scenes making of this episode as well, which is going to be a patron video.
Because I know you're all dying to know.
Yeah, so if you're a patron, that'll be coming out probably the day after this, once we've edited it and stuff like that. So, hope you enjoy that.
Lucky you. You might get to see us in our pants.
Yeah, and because that's what we wear underneath.
Yep.
Yeah. The rest of you, tough shit, frankly. Hey ho. But if you did enjoy this video, you can like it if you like, and if you didn't enjoy it, downvote the shit out of it. Remember, my name is Masala Rock'n'Roll.
And I'm Feet Gaming. Yep. It's true.
Do you think they believed us?
Yeah. I think this is the time where we actually fooled everyone.
I reckon so too. I reckon if we go to Theat Gaming's page now, underneath his latest
gonna be
video,
on
it's
his
just be like,
comments.
fuck you, Theat Gaming. You are talking shit about the fucking scaling. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Theat, noob. Your wife's ugly. Join us next week for the next weekly reset. Until then, from me, Taliesin.
And me, Evitel.
Cheerio.